interesting report. By the way, our project is also related to some issues which Olga was discussing, and it is very symbolic that we had some delay before our presentation, because accidentally our presentation was on the flashcard by Urbit, and you know that this crypto exchange will disappear soon, so this is quite symbolic. So actually Moneytalk is related on building decentralized ecosystems on BitShares blockchain. By the way, does anyone knows here what BitShares is? Raise your hands, who knows? No, I have no doubt in my mind. You know, still there are not too many people who know what it is. And this is because perhaps there is not too much marketing in the community, and we're gonna change this situation in a radical way. Everyone knows what Ethereum is, no one knows what BitShares is, but this technology is much more superior and have many better characteristics. So the main question is why decentralized cryptocurrencies are traded on centralized exchanges. All the cryptocurrencies and crypto assets were decentralized by their own nature, and as Satoshi Nakamoto claimed in his white paper, the society will come to decentralization. But unfortunately, in the modern world, it is not true, and decentralized cryptocurrency assets are traded on centralized exchanges. There are many of them, and this is really a problem. This is some kind of oxymoron. You know, there is controversy in this. So, does anyone know what is the difference between decentralized cryptocurrency exchanges and centralized one? Does anyone know? No. And does anyone trade on decentralized exchanges? Great. And which are them, if it's not a secret?
EtherDelta.
EtherDelta. This is exactly what I was expecting that you will tell, because unfortunately, decentralized exchanges are not so popular. So the main feature of decentralized exchanges is that they have much higher security compared to centralized ones. For example, in any centralized system, by its own nature, there is a risk of fraud, there is a risk of security, there is a risk of fraud by its administration. We all remember the times of Mt. Gox with its scam exit with huge sums of money. But by the way, are there any Bitcoin dinosaurs here who traded at Mt. Gox? Great. We will meet you personally and discuss everything in greater detail. So recently there was a situation with centralized exchange. It was some Japanese exchange. At this exchange, around $500 million in NEM cryptocurrency disappeared, and they thought hackers have stolen. But perhaps this was scam exit of Japanese yakuza. Who knows? No one ever will have any reliable proofs. In the decentralized ecosystem, this is not possible at all, because by its nature, decentralized ecosystem doesn't have any third party in which you should trust. You should not trust any third party, you should trust only in hash. In hash we trust. So all the operation in decentralized exchanges are done on the blockchain, so they are transparent. There is no administration which just is drawing some kind of figures on your account, and in fact when it comes to withdraw your cryptocurrency, there is no cryptocurrency in the cold wallet of the exchange. This is not true for decentralized exchanges. Still, as our friend mentioned he tried it at FR Delta, but if I'm not mistaken, it was hacked several times, right? It was hacked, no? They were used that some money have been stolen. So this is actually the problem not of decentralized ecosystem, but the problem of Ethereum. All the people think that decentralization is related to main dinosaurs, Bitcoin and Ethereum. But as you can see on this graph, Ethereum and Bitcoin are not so much decentralized, in fact, how they were claimed when they were created. There are lots of chances for oligopolistic competition, for monopolistic competition here on this framework, and this framework is not truly decentralized, not truly democratic. You all know that proof of work algorithm means that you need to have as many valuable resources as it's possible, many cheap electricity, efficient miners, etc. That is why many miners are located in China, so they have access to their miners first. So many mining pools can make a collusion against the whole market, and that is actually what story shows. The same is true for Ethereum, in fact, and for any proof of work system. So the power is concentrated in hands of some rich persons, etc. That is why we see many forms of Bitcoin. We have seen several forks of Ethereum, etc. On the contrary, BitShares blockchain, which is based upon delegated proof of stake algorithm, it is some kind of democratic state on the blockchain. It is mainly about philosophy, not only the technology, because as you see on this graph, there is some limited amount of master nodes which are producing blocks on the blockchain, and all the shares are absolutely equal on those nodes. So the risk of adverse behavior is very low here. So there is always a consensus, so there will never happen any hard fork which is not profitable for the ecosystem at all. So in fact, today I think BitShares blockchain is the most decentralized one. So, is some person tried it on decentralized exchanges? Can you tell me what you dislike in decentralized exchanges?
Slow.
Absolutely, they're slow. Then there is low liquidity, and their interface is not very user-friendly. But I think low liquidity is a consequence of not convenient user-friendly interface, and also a consequence of the fact that people get used to trade on centralized exchanges. So our aim at DX to build such an ecosystem which will be based upon the most democratic, the fastest blockchain of BitShares, and at the same time will have the most user-friendly interface. So we are working hard on it. Now we are running ICO. It is quite successful. By the way, that is why I was changing my presentation for some time, because the figure of funds collected has changed dramatically. In order to invest lots of money in marketing, in attracting users, etc. Because the development of the exchange itself, it's not such an expensive task. The most expensive task is to attract more users and more liquidity, and to deal with market makers, etc. So a couple words about our name. Everything is located on our website. One of our main advisors is Mr. Yuri Milyukov. He was the pioneer of Russian exchanges, and he was the founder of the very first Russian exchange. He is our advisor in strategical questions. Then Denis Soldatov is responsible for communication with Ethereum. He is, by the way, one of the co-developers of Parity. Maya is responsible for cryptocurrency fund. By the way, she's located here in Switzerland, and she will deal with all the legal issues. At the moment, we have collected more than 8,000 Ethereum, and we are running ICO now. It ends in the end of February. Next, we will move to Stockholm, then to Turkey, and I think we will be able to close our hard cap, but soft cap is twice as closed. So you can still become a part of the X and invest into a decentralized future, invest into stable exchange in which you can safely save your funds. That is all for my presentation, and I think it will be quite interesting for you to know more about some technical and strategical details about the shares. So today, thank you, our dear guest from BitShares Blockchain Foundation, Dirks and Fabian. You can ask them questions. Welcome. Let's make applause for them. Actually, those people are just like Satoshi Nakamoto. In fact, they are at the roots of this business.
Can I have the mic?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Bonjour. I'm from the BitShares Blockchain Foundation. That's not a very well-known entity in this world. If you are a decentralized blockchain like BitShares Blockchain, and you are one of the oldest, you have no CEO, you've got no office, no marketing department, you've got nothing. There's only one thing you do have, and that is governance. And in the BitShares Blockchain, if you hold BTS, one BTS is a vote. So you get to determine which direction the blockchain takes. And that unique system takes care of itself. I think it is, I've been in IT since 1987, it's the most fantastic invention ever. The problem is, nobody knows about it because there was no marketing. Now we heard earlier this morning speakers talk about the governance issues and regulators. Lots has changed in our market, in our environment. So during 2017, everybody followed the press. SEC, China, the regulators got hold of us, basically. And there was the BitShares Blockchain with no defense line, no contact address, nobody. In the Netherlands, 2 years ago, we already founded the BitShares Blockchain Foundation, which is a legal entity normally based like any other company. It's a non-profit organization, and we use that to promote BitShares Blockchain in its technical capacity and do seminars and that sort of thing. So through the unique governance system, we proposed a worker proposal, as it's called, to arrange for a spokesperson worldwide. So on that team for a spokesperson, because BitShares Blockchain Foundation is not staffed, they use people from the company that Fabian and I work for. So you have to present your team, which is basically us and a couple of other people. And the blockchain itself, in its voting principle, within 6 hours I got over 500 million votes, and I became the spokesperson globally to deal with SEC, regulators, lawyers, legal counsel from all sorts of exchanges who want to list BTS as a token. So that opened up a really unique worldwide situation. The decentralized blockchain, with all its advantages, now has an address, now has somebody to talk to, and that made a world of difference. It started the promotion of BitShares in many economic and viable situations. DEX is just one of them. You will see many more to come over the next couple of months worldwide. In the Chinese, Asian Pacific area, there's lots of activity. In the United States, there's a lot going on. We have, however, a sort of heritage of a lot of papers and stuff on the internet, because a decentralized blockchain has no marketing department, has nobody to say what to write or to do. So we started a new website that's going to air soon, which is BitShares.Foundation, which will have the legal white paper representing the blockchain community by vote. So everybody's unanimous about that. And a BitShares.Legal website, which will entail all the necessary details for exchanges and other people interested in doing something with the core token of the BitShares blockchain. I can only say you this: over the last 6 months, lots has changed. It used to be that we talked to technical people interested in development, in new ideas, in innovation. Nowadays, I first talk to lawyers, and then I talk to lawyers, and then the third time I talk to lawyers, and the fourth time, and then finally the technical people are allowed to do their thing. That's the world of today. Last week, a new worker proposal got voted in by the community. So Bitches blockchain is going in the United States, first of all, for a legal counsel letter. That is something that you need. It is a lawyer of your own party, basically. We hired Paul Hastings for that. It's a very world-renowned firm in this area. They do SEC litigation and development. Many of our bigger crypto brothers are a customer there. And we are going for a unique situation, and that is a no-action letter from the SEC. If we achieve that process, we will be the first cryptocurrency environment who gets that, and that will sort of be a free ticket to the future for a very bright future of Bitches and blockchain and BTS. So in this unique position, I also have my own company, which is Blockchain Projects. So basically, my company carries out this work by the global vote of the Bitches blockchain community. How does that work? Very transparent. Everything is online in blockchain. Everything that we do, all the work, all the hours, all the technical development that's being done. And in that sense, a decentralized blockchain is a really truly unique phenomenon. I heard earlier Vlad talk about decentralized and centralized. If you use a decentralized blockchain, you can use a centralized exchange on top of it. And you can have your KYC, your private environment, all the limitations and exclusions that you want on that. So it's not necessarily so that on a decentralized blockchain you need to apply a decentralized exchange. I think that's a very important fact because it makes you flexible. Along with me, I brought Fabian. Between the two of us, we mastered quite a few languages. So if you have questions regarding to BitShares, we're here all day. So don't hesitate to just tap on our shoulder. I'll now give the mic to Fabian Shu, Dr. Fabian Shu, I should say. He doesn't like that. He's very modest. He's a world-renowned specialist on the BitShares platform. He never said that himself, so I'm going to do that for him. He'll give you some facts on the BitShares blockchain. And if you got any questions regarding to applying any of this technology, we're there all day. Thank you.
Aspects. I have a sheet of paper here with a couple numbers, and I need a paper because I can remember all of them. Basically, BitShares 2 was launched in late 2015. That was the second BitShares blockchain already. We have had a major rewrite of the underlying technology. Since 2015, we have created blocks every 3 seconds. If you do the numbers, you will figure out that we have over 24.6 million blocks. So we definitely are the longest blockchain around. The blockchain itself, I think it's about 40 gigabytes of size only, so it's more or less fit for scale. We have 3 seconds, every 3 seconds we have a new block. We have finality every minute, around a minute, less than a minute actually. Finality is what you get in Bitcoin if you wait for 6 confirmations. In quotes, it's not really final, but more or less final after 6 confirmations, which is an hour in Bitcoin, which is less than 1 minute on BitShares on the BitShares blockchain. As a comparison, a couple numbers. Transactions per day. There's a Steem blockchain, which has currently the biggest record number, which is 2 million transactions a day. 2 million transactions on the blockchain a day. Followed by, I think, BitShares, which is 1.4 million transactions a day. Followed by Ethereum with 1.2 million transactions a day. Although, in Ethereum, that record was achieved with quite a lot of backlog in the pending transactions. Well, on Steem and BitShares, we actually don't see a lot of pending transactions at all. To give you a quick number, we have made a stress test on the BitShares test network and have achieved a number of 3,600 transactions per second. If you do the numbers, that's 311 million transactions a day. So that's what you're running on a test nets, rather small test nets. So we would say that the BitShares actual main network is pretty fit for well, quite a lot of traffic on it, like a growth of 300 in the traffic, and it's still going to be like, not going to see any pending transactions during that time. In those 24 million blocks in BitShares, we have actually processed over 140 million operations. Operations is considered this a transfer, like on Bitcoin, except that in BitShares we have actually a couple of more smart contracts, hard integrated. I think we have around 40 operation types of things you can do on the blockchain, with 140 of them having been executed during the last years. We've seen a picture with these slices. We have 19 witnesses currently, although the number can change. These witnesses are basically our block producers, the miners, so to speak, although every witness has the same influence on the blockchain. We also have something that's called a committee, which is basically like a group of people that can jointly control parameters of the blockchain live. So that means we've had a lot of discussions on Bitcoin about block size. This discussion doesn't really happen on BitShares because the block size doesn't need a hard fork to change. All we need to do is bring up a proposal for the committee. They discuss whether the proposal goes through, and then they just say, okay, now the block size is going to be 2 megabytes, or maybe just half a megabyte, because we have a block every 3 seconds. Also, other than that, you can actually change the block times at any time. Like you can go from 3 seconds blocks to 1 second blocks. Like every second there's going to be a block. And we did exactly that on the testnets during our stress test. And we were pretty amused to see that it works out quite fine. There was no trouble, no missed blocks, no nothing. The blockchain just continued to go. I think that's all for the numbers that I have. If you know more about the technical aspects, ask your questions here or offline.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to add one more thing. There is a website called Blockchain Academy, written as one word, .nl. That's something that we sponsor for students in universities and anybody who wants to play around with a complete copy of the BitShares blockchain. So if you're a developer and you're interested in sort of figuring out what you can do with it, you can ask Access, and we do that for free. So help yourselves, I would say.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for your time and your contribution and your association.